Hello, and thanks for visiting my YouTube channel and blog. I'm Jenny Hall. In this tutorial, I'll be making a clean and simple card that uses stamps and die cut for a layered look that's going to carry the clean and simple theme throughout this card. I used two stamp sets from Stampin' Up. One is layering love, and the other is love and affection. That's a lot of love going into one card. And I also am going to be using framelits. It's the Sweet and Sassy Framelits dies. These are a wonderful set of dies because they give you the ability to give a layer. There's two different styles of heart. One is a sweet heart, which is very straight lines, and the other is called a sassy heart that's more of a curvy heart. And there's an equal amount of dies for both of those in the package. I really enjoy being able to use the heart dies on my cards, and having the ability to layer them is always really nice. I'm using the one die on my background piece to draw a guide for my stamping. The reason I did this is because I'm going to have this background piece be die cut and show through the front of the card in another die cut. So I want to place my stamps in a position that they are going to hang over into the image without losing what those stamped images are. The way that I am choosing to stamp is called generational stamping, and in other different terms it's also called stamp off. So the reason that I'm using this is to be able to get different shades of the one ink color, which this is a wonderful way for you to stretch out your craft supplies. You can get a darker image and a lighter shade in the exact same ink pad. It works out very well for my card making. So the way you do this is to place the ink on your stamp off onto a piece of paper, and then put the stamp onto your paper, and that'll give you a lighter shade. You could even stamp off twice, and it'll give you even a lighter degree of ink color. It's something that I use very frequently, and if you have never tried this technique, then it would be a great way for you to be able to get some variants of color for the eye. It will definitely catch the eye. So what I'm doing with the yellow flowers is, instead of stamping off onto the scratch piece of paper, I am actually making two different shades of the yellow color flower onto my background. I'm using Watermelon Wonder, which is a pinky orange color that is in contrast to the other ink shades that I use. This is the sentiment is going to be bold and bright in the middle of this card without complicating things too much. I used the smaller die of the two of the sweethearts to make some tick marks on my card front, so that I will be able to know where I'm going to place the color. What my plan is to do some sponging onto the paper, and then use a die cut to remove the middle part of the card and let the background show through. I'm a little more heavy-handed on this sponging than I really want it to be, and am really not very happy with the shade of color that's coming up. So as you'll see as the video progresses, I make a decision to go in a different way. I'm using my Big Shot die cutting machine to use the Sweetheart die and remove the center portion of this card. I use a piece of washi tape from a roll, like a retired roll of washi tape, that will, it's a low tack tape, washi tape is, and it'll hold the die in place on the paper without removing any of the paper when I remove the washi tape. I'm using the larger of the two dies to cut out the sentiment and the background piece. This is what's going to show through on the card. This is the point where I make the decision to not use the darker of the darker side of the sponging image. It was just too much. It wasn't what I wanted to carry through. So I used the same dauber and just very lightly put the ink around the edges, and that was enough to be able to just highlight around the edge. You could use an actual sponge or a sponge dauber to achieve the sponged look, and I had the sponge dauber already out, so that's why I used a dauber. It had this color ink already loaded on it. I'm securing the background piece to the card base with a piece of snail adhesive. You could use liquid glue. At this point, you could use any kind of adhesive that works best for you. This is a length of washi tape that I designed the entire card around. I wanted to use the colors of ink that will complement this color of washi tape. And the washi tape is a really inexpensive and very spectacular way to add to your card making. I didn't use a lot of washi tape here, but it was enough to give the eye interest. It carries through the card, and it doesn't take away from the clean and simple design that I wanted this card to convey. I'm using a piece of solid white baker's twine, and I anchored it to the back of the card front with just a little stretch of the snail adhesive. And I'm securing it down to the card by making a small bow. I don't want this washi tape to, I don't want the bow on the string to take away from what I'm doing with this clean and simple design. The adhesive that I chose to use to hold the card front down is foam dimensionals, and they're double stick. They have sticky on both sides. You could use foam adhesive roll and then cut off a stretch of it, or you could use a piece of fun foam. Whatever is going to allow you to be able to send your card in the mail if it's being delivered by mail, and be able to receive the impact of just being shipped around to maybe around the world. So that's one thing to keep in mind whenever you are choosing your foam adhesive. So I'm going to adhere this to the front of the card, and after I got it adhered, then I chose to use some sequins from Little Things from Lucy's Cards and Pretty Pink Posh. I think that the sequins are enough to just carry through and give a little twinkle. Thanks for joining me today on this card making tutorial. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like the video. And for more card ideas, go over to jennystampsup.com.